Welcome to MSU Soccer Park, opening up Labor Day weekend with some USL action as New York Red Bulls 2 at 9-11 and 5, 10th in the Eastern Conference host the Tampa Bay Rowdies at 10-6 and 8, 4th in the Eastern Conference in the penultimate home game of the inaugural season here at MSU Soccer Park. New York Red Bulls 2, reigning regular season and postseason champions. And for myself and Christian Dyer, the question right now is, can they get to the postseason again and make it still maybe a second straight year?
Well, listen, this is a team that I think is certainly coming around to form, David, when you're talking about Red Bulls 2. Past 4 matches has been putting together some very solid performances. Defensively, I like the fact that they cleaned some things up in the back, tightened up, even with all the lineup shifts and players being called up and being moved on and moving out. I think the fact that defensively their shape has improved, big sign for the playoffs if they get it that far.
Well, that defensive shape, well, let's look at our star players, and Jordan Scarlett for New York Red Bulls 2 has been a big part of that.
Yeah, and Jordan Scarlett's a player who certainly plays physically, and he's going to have a tough time this match against Joe Cole right here. Missed the last 2 games with the back injury, but you talk about Joe Cole, his influence, the impact that he's had and that he's made on this Tampa Bay team, leadership-wise on the field, calming and possessing things. And there's Jordan Scarlett. He is a player who physically, I think, certainly fits the bill of being able to play in this league. Very good in terms of his recovery runs, being able to cover a lot of space in the back line.
His injury, a big part of the slow start for New York Red Bulls 2 this season. Let's look at the starting lineups for these 2 teams. For the Tampa Bay Rowdies, a lot of good news coming into this one. They've got 2 new players.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars, innovative technology, and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
Ready to go. Big-time atmosphere here at Red Bull Arena. Wide shot saved by Robles. Bradley right for it. Has scored! The ultimate scoring machine. And New York is on fire. Hashtag New York is red. And who would argue with them?
Back here at MSU Soccer Park, ready for this one. Tampa Bay Rowdies, a couple big additions to their starting lineup. Hunter Gorski making his first ever appearance after signing just a couple days ago. Joe Cole off with an injury since July 5th, back into the lineup alongside Marcel Schaefer and Martin Vingard in midfield as we get kicked off here for New York. On the flip side, Andrew Tenari stepped in to become a constant in that central midfield, and Stefano Bonomo has been the big goal scorer over the last few games. He comes into this one. Center forward Ryan Mira back with New York Red Bulls 2 as he spent most of the year at the MLS side. But Evan Loro on this day, Christian, he's in Dallas with New York Red Bulls for MLS action, so Ryan Mira gets the start here today ahead of Rafi Diaz. Restrepo pushing into the final third. Former Bethlehem Steel opponent of New York Red Bulls 2.
And I think perhaps an interesting move there from the coaching staff of the Red Bulls, making sure that Ryan Mira gets a match before the U.S. Open Cup final in a couple weeks' time in Sporting Kansas City. Evan Loro has certainly earned the right, based off of his performance here at the U.S. level, to be able to play, and be able to get the appearances with the MLS squad. But I think Ryan Mira and his sharpness right now is paramount for a team that's pursuing the U.S. Open Cup.
New York Red Bulls, too, unbeaten in their last 4, 2 home wins, 2 road draws. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, they've won 1 game on the road all season. This is the start of a 3-game road stretch spanning the course of this week. The first time ever these two teams are facing off. They'll face off again in early October to finish their season matchups. Our head official, Jose Carlos Rivero, for this one. His 2 assistants, Ryan Dos Reyes and Zeno Cho. John Hartley, our 4th official. Junior Flemings, it's onto the ball, tries to push it forward for Velo. Florian Velo getting a goal last week, just his 2nd of the season. It's been a slow 2nd season for a player who exploded last year and was a big part of the championship run for this squad. Noah Powder's shot, and it's hit over the top.
And this is a Tampa Bay Rowdies team that comes in so far certainly on very good form, but when you look at their play on the road, it's been a very different team for Tampa. They're very comfortable at Al Lang Stadium. Seems like they use the width of the field there and the conditions there, but on the road, it's definitely been some struggles for this team.
One of the things that they mentioned was they also struggle on turf. So 2 tough situations for them, as I said, midweek at Harrisburg City, and then next weekend at Bethlehem. They will travel back to Tampa after this game and then travel to Harrisburg on Tuesday and stay in Pennsylvania for the rest of the week for both those games. Sitting in 4th place in the Eastern Conference for Tampa, coming off a nice long break after a bye week last week. Tampa and their famous yellow and green hoops going left to right, starting to push the attack. New York and their home whites. Trying to maintain this good home run and run overall that they've been in. 2 spots out of the playoffs with 4 of their last 6 on the road. David Jim throws it in, flicked on by Flemings. Past Bonomo, and this is Hunter Gorski, just signed about 10 days ago by Tampa. A local guy here in New York.
3rd player on this roster from the New York Cosmos.
Spent about 3 seasons with the Cosmos before going to Poland last year. Now returning to the U.S. to play professionally once again. He was a major part of what the Cosmos have done successfully over the last few years on that back line. Good versatility as well. Restrepo, another former Cosmo, beats Powder to that ball.
There likely would be a 3rd member of that Cosmos organization in the starting 11 if Leo Fernandez, a player I really like when you saw him with the Philadelphia Union, 1v1, his ability to get out wide, incredibly talented player. I think he has a lot of width to this team when he's healthy.
The first free kick of the game. And a yellow card early on here against that Tampa Bay Rowdies. And it is issued to Georgi Ristov, the Bulgarian leading goal scorer on this team. Early yellow card there, so he'll have to be careful.
A little uncharacteristic there from Ristov. I mean, he's a guy who has an awful lot of experience with a lot of the top club teams in Bulgaria. Coming into this game with 8 goals right here, very much the cog of the attack and someone who makes this Tampa Bay team click. Probably more comfortable playing up top, but in this formation is being asked to play out wide.
A Tampa Bay Rowdies team, you talk about experience, that maybe has the most in USL. Some players in that front line, Martin Vanguard, who's played in Champions League for Copenhagen, for Nordsjælland, played for the Danish national team. Martin Patterson, Northern Ireland international
Marcel
as well.
Schaefer as well, kept multiple times by the German national team. I mean, this is a team that's certainly, and when we just saw an uncharacteristic giveaway there, it's a team that's long on experience against a team that is very inexperienced right now. A Red Bulls 2 team with a number of academy players being called up. We've seen in recent weeks that the team has certainly had a number of players being called up to the full senior team and injuries and everything else, and that certainly weighs on an organization.
Tenari with the long shot, knocked down by Pickens. Matt Pickens solidifying the starting spot here. This is 21st start of the season, the 35-year-old out of Washington, Missouri. Andrew Tenari's really turned it on lately. Started the year, was pushed in and out at fullback a little bit as he found his feet, was still in classes at the beginning of USL season, wasn't able to train full-time and focus on his soccer, but over the last 2 or 3 months, he's become a constant on the lineup sheet for John Wolyniec.
Yeah, and Tenari's very much of a two-way player, likes to go box to box as much as possible. And we saw his first few USL matches. He was a guy who came in kind of slowly, like you said, just wanted to fit in. And now with every passing week is somebody who's fitting more and more into this high press system.
Offside flag goes up.
Have to be impressed very much with his engine, but also his ability just to make the simple pass, sit in the pockets, be a reliable outlet there for the rest of the midfield, and then linking up the back line with the attacking pieces that Red Bulls 2 has.
Ryan Meara wearing the captain's armband for this one. Backstopped this team to their USL Cup championship last year, including 2 PK shootouts to win the Eastern Conference in just the second season in existence for New York Red Bulls 2. A playoff appearance and win their first year as well. Now trying to find a way to sneak in these final 7 games. Sitting just outside the playoff spots here. As we get into fall, gorgeous in my book. Not too sunny, cool. Labor Day, Saturday here. We thank you so much for starting your holiday weekend with us. Tampa Bay Rowdies and New York Red Bulls 2 facing off for the first time ever. Martillos, left back, gets pushed off the ball now. Switch to Kyle Porter. Porter's got some space in front of him to work, trying to play it up and into the feet of Restrepo. Noah Powder, who signed with the team in July, on the ball there. Tenari's able to clean up behind him. New York Red Bulls 2, the worst defensive team in the Eastern Conference, facing off against a Tampa Bay Rowdies team that is the best defensive team in the Eastern Conference. Porter, Canadian international, former DC United player, as well as FC Edmonton and Ottawa Fury. Ball's clipped over the top for Patterson, and offside is called against him. Opening 10 or so minutes played here at MSU Soccer Park. New York Red Bulls 2 calling this home for the first time ever. Christian, more improvements expected to the stadium, to the setup. This will close out their first year here at MSU Soccer Park, just second to last game.
Yeah, more seats expected, locker room facilities coming in, all just making a bit more of a home type of feel for Red Bulls too. And I think it's been a very positive experience so far for these players to have a facility. And listen, Red Bull Arena's among the best facilities in the country for soccer, but perhaps a little oversized for this part of the organization. And I think this gives a better, more professional feel for these players as they continue their development.
Zico Lewis outruns Porter. Now Powder back on the ball. Left-footed cross played in. Bonomo tries to turn. His touch a little bit too long, and he'll roll out for a corner kick.
Really like that understanding there from Stefano Bonomo as well. Just sitting there, then being able to make that run, turning off the shoulder of the defender, just being able to find that little pocket of space. Bonomo does that so well. His understanding, his reading, and knowing the channels and where the ball could be delivered.
Fan stamps and information from around the league. Tune in Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM-FC Channel 85. And don't forget, SiriusXM-FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Go to uslsoccer.com to find that schedule. Bonomo, 4 goals in just 6 appearances this season. 5 starts. Came into the year carrying that knee injury. He's been able to work his way back. Powder, more space to cross once again. He hits it off of Porter, and it'll go out for a throw into New York. Quickly taken to Shigenobu. And in on the ground, it's cleared away by Gorski. Schaefer can't get a clean foot to it. Tenari's able to get by Schaefer. Wide for Flemings. Flemings back to the feet of Tenari. Turns by one, and his shot is blocked.
I know we're going to focus a lot on that movement there by Tenari, but to win that initial ball, be able to spray it out wide, and then be able to sit there in order to receive the ball. Good work from the former Colombian midfielder.
Drew Tenari showing off the foot skills before that shot was blocked. Corner kick coming now for New York. Tenari's the one that puts it in, headed away from Endom. Patterson now holding the ball up. He goes down. The foul called against Shigenobu. We talked about all the experience on this team. Kazu Shigenobu has already gone up against Joe Cole once or twice in this game. Cole, double the age of Kazu Shigenobu, just 17 years old, the academy player, headed to Princeton University. Not before he gets a couple professional soccer games under his belt.
Well, what a great experience out for Shigenobu to go up against a player who's been capped over 50 times by England, played for Chelsea, certainly one of the best players in the Premier League over the past decade, to be able to get those learning experiences and the confidence from those moments to be able to carry into college soccer and I think potentially probably an MLS contract down the road.
New York Red Bulls to a successful year so far in terms of pushing players through their system. Vincent Bezecourt, the leader in assists on the team, second leader still in the entire league. He is with New York Red Bulls in Dallas today for MLS action. Powder knocks that header down. Loro I mentioned as well, as is Arun Basulovic, which is why Shigenobu has a spot to fill. Bonomo brings it down for Flemings. Gorski with the slide tackle.
Good intervention there from Gorski, reading well and just willingness to be able to go down there and break things up. If he doesn't make that challenge just right, Tampa Bay could already be down a goal.
Gorski, growing up playing soccer not too far from here. For New Jersey club legend PDA, went out to Stanford for his college soccer.
Not a bad school.
No, I've heard of it before. Flemings trying to link up with Shigenobu, turned over. Immediately won back by New York. Flemings, it's ridden down. Foul there going against Martin Vingard.
For information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Vingard, former finalist for Danish Player of the Year. An illustrious career in Denmark as Scarlett's able to save that ball, keeps it in. Goes by Restrepo. For the long ball towards Bonomo. Headed away. Now Velo with the follow-up shot, and it's saved.
And almost a little bit of miscommunication back there in the back line with Tampa Bay. Pickens almost coming out there, wisely taking the back step. And then we see here Velo with the opportunity, winning that second ball, looking to go to that far post.
Florian Velo's been able to move back a little bit with the shifts in this team, playing more of a third forward for most of the year, but with Bezecourt gone, has slid back into his role as the number 10 on this team and has looked pretty comfortable over the last few games.
Well, anytime you can get a player like Florian Velo, yes, you're taking him away perhaps from goal a little bit, but certainly you're being able to get him more on the ball, more involved in the build-up, spraying the ball out wide. That's going to be a good thing.
Restrepo brings it down. His shot will go wide. It shows you the lethal ability along this front line for Tampa Bay. Rowdies, 35 goals scored this season, 3 less than New York Red Bulls too, but I mentioned the gulf in quality defensively between these two teams. Scarlett goes back to the feet of Mira. A calm start for both these sides. Christian, one of the things we've talked about all season and we've seen all season is how important it's been for New York to get the first goal.
Well, not just get the first goal, but they've also struggled in recent weeks. When you're talking about drop points, the ability to close out games.
But Nomo's played through by Tenari here. He's got 2 defenders around him trying to find some space to shoot. Gets it to Velo. Now Tenari lines one up and curls it in. The hammer drop. Andrew Tenari, who is absolutely on fire right now.
And we saw a few minutes ago Andrew Tenari shooting from distance, and perhaps one of the first forays for Red Bulls 2 onto goal here. But here, Matt Pickens, I'm not sure if he was screened on that effort or whatever, but an absolute screamer there from Andrew Tenari, doing so well in this match in the build-up. He had an opportunity a few moments ago, but Bonomo with just good holding on to possession, Velo laying it off, and then Tenari, no question about it.
Second goal of the season, second goal in a week for Andrew Tenari. Christian, we come off saying how important it is for New York to score the first goal, and then Tenari pounces. What a season, what a summer it has been for Andrew Tenari. The loss of Bezecourt, Vasulovic, Dan Metzger hasn't played with this team for most of the summer, and Tenari has stepped in along with Bonomo and Scarlett and really led the resurgence for this New York Red Bull 2 team. Bonomo's dragged down, so a free kick coming for New York. Tenari has to tie that right foot. Shoelace a little bit, maybe came off on that shot.
Maybe a little bit of smoke still on that one.
And Dom closed down by Patterson.
You know, this time a month ago, we were talking about Hassan and Dom and you know, the qualities that he has, certainly physically, and I think the innate soccer ability he has as a center back that you can't teach, but he was making lots of individual mistakes. We've seen now for a month, so he's really tidied things up.
The Jim coming forward, plays it down the line for Flemings, and he's called offside.
But what good movement there from Red Bulls too. The understanding, the movement off the ball, running into spaces, the overlapping. You can tell when things are going well for this team. They have been for about a month now, but as things continue to get better, the flow, the confidence that they have, their movement, unlike any other team in the USL. Big reason why last 4 matches, they have 8 points.
And a little bit of a swagger and confidence, it looks like, Christian, back to this team that they had all of last year. A belief that no matter what happened, they'd win, a constant energy. Now the Rowdies are looking to show their experience here. Corner kick earned. Looked like Patterson wanted a handball called against Scarlett there.
He might have had a claim there.
So now Marcel Schaefer, the all-time leading Bundesliga appearance man in Wolfsburg history, coming forward to take this corner kick. A lot of bodies in the box. New York Red Bulls 2, all 11 players back defensively. Schaefer with the left-footed cross. It's headed in at the near post, flicked on, and simply headed home that time. As easy a goal as Martin Patterson scored in his illustrious career.
Well, that ball played there right in the edge of the 6-yard box. No one from Red Bulls 2 clearing it up. Patterson sitting back post. Always like to have somebody back post, and Patterson was there to complement that.
Marcel Schaefer played into the near post, flicked on. Patterson puts it in, then looks back to make sure he's onside.
Yeah, good awareness, though, I think, from Martin Patterson, knowing where he should be, knowing the offside line. How many times do we see, whatever the level is, a player on a corner kick doesn't know that the line is moving? Patterson held that line perfectly.
Well, we weren't sure what type of game we would see in this one. As I said, Red Bulls 2, one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Tampa Bay, one of the best. A lot of goals so far here. These two teams are going to go, it looks like, blow for blow. Great chance now coming for Tampa Bay through the midfield. Switch of the field towards Patterson. They'll go wide to Restrepo. Kyle Porter making the run down the line. Restrepo will use him. Right-footed cross played into Joe Cole's feet, and it's knocked away by Scarlett.
And yet, two players there at the back post for Tampa Bay, just waiting if Porter was able to get that ball through.
So another corner kick coming. New York's already conceded now. Off a corner, it'll be Schaefer's service once again. Most likely an in-swinging left footer this time. New York will have to find a way to do better. Schaefer with the cross. Into the box, Mira comes out and punches it away. Cole keeps it in to the feet of Porter. Down the line now, Schaefer will get a second chance at it. Cross, almost brought down there by Ristov. Portillos with the long ball. Mira comes flying out, he makes the punch. And he looks okay back on his feet. Christian, you could see a recognition from Ryan Mira, that struggle in the air on the goal. Very aggressive on the last two crosses.
Yeah, first there on the set piece on the corner kick, and now with that deep ball. And this is a strength of Ryan Mira, his ability to come out, be decisive, certainly has the size, but also has the confidence as well to be able to come out. This is a Tampa team that isn't afraid, because of some of the size components they have, to strike a ball in and be able to play the aerial game.
That cross played and handled easily by Mira. Patterson has been a dangerous goal scorer his entire life. A 30-year-old out of England. That's his 8th goal of the season. One of the all-time greats at Burnley, helping push them to promotion to the Premier League, scoring over 30 goals in his career with them. And the Jim knocks that one out. About 25 minutes played here, Christian. A goal either side. What have you seen from these two teams?
Well, certainly a little bit more of the run of play right now to Red Bulls too, but I think what's been impressive about Tampa Bay is when they have numbers, when they're able to move forward. We're talking about Schaefer and Vingard in particular, being willing to drop back and receive the ball, but then play it quickly out into wide positions. Tampa Bay, I think, has been the more dangerous of the two teams with their more limited opportunities.
And it kind of goes to, when you look at the numbers over the year, these two teams. New York Red Bulls 2, across from Lewis. More passes completed than Tampa, but a lot lower percentage. So more possession, but not a lot of it used. And for Tampa's side, very efficient in the few moments that they've had dangerously over the course of the year.
I still want to be able to see, if I'm Red Bulls 2 Junior Flemings, and I know he had that injury early on the year. He suffered some knocks this year, and perhaps a little bit of a dip in form, but being able to get him in 1v1 situations, such a dangerous player at this level. Red Bulls 2, I think, needs to get him a bit more involved in this match.
Patterson losing possession. Scarlett puts it straight out. Porter throws it in. Scarlett goes back to the feet of Mira, who's now pressured by Ristov. And Mira's able to get rid of it under the foot of Schaefer. It looks like Lewis and Flemings have swapped wings. Below with the long ball down the middle. Gorski beats Bonomo to it. Ball over the top into the path of Ristov, who's onside. Handled easily by Endom. Tanari, he got a goal so far today. Looking to play it into the path of Bonomo. Right in front of that goal there with the Rampage. The official supporters group of New York Red Bulls 2 right behind them. Soccer fans, Nike's an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Pickens blasts that one long. Patterson goes down, looking for a call, none made. Shigenobu floats right by the defender there. Now Lewis one-on-one with Portillos. Still in a battle. Portillos able to win it and earn the goal kick.
Good work there defensively from the former Akron Zip.
One of two Zips on this team. Michael Nanchoff on the bench, former generation Adidas player. Part of the pipeline that Caleb Porter built at Akron University.
Is there a better name in all of college sports than the Zips?
I don't think so.
I mean, Montclair State Red Hawks up there, but I think Zips is probably pretty close.
I think so as well. Scarlett goes square to Endom. Jim's able to keep it in. Jim, another Columbia University graduate alongside Tenari in this side. Tenari into the feet of Velo. Tackled away quickly by Schaefer. Shigenobu and Joe Cole. That matchup we were so excited to see.
Good work there from Shigenobu as Tenari moved up to win that second ball, vacating the space behind him. Shigenobu stepping up and winning that battle with Cole.
And feet of Velo cleared away by Vanguard. Patterson hits the ground once again right in front of our head official, Jose Carlos Rivero. No call made.
And I think he has a claim. I think he was fouled there. He was pulled, tugged in the back of the shirt, and then taken to the ground.
Tenari's touch too long. Schaefer, fortunate not to take any more contact, but he got the free kick called for him. Joe Cole, 2008 Chelsea Player of the Year, as they were runners-up in the Champions League that year, as well as Premier League champions. He won the Premier League 3 times, and the FA Cup 3 times as well, and appeared in 3 World Cups. Big number for Joe Cole. I don't know if he knows that, but I think so. His goal in 2006 against Sweden, one of the goals of the tournament. Tenari's ball over the top rolls into the feet of Pickens. Collins, the ball up the left side. Bonomo dropping deep to find the ball. This pass on the ground will go to the feet of Porter. Since the goal, New York struggling maybe to find some possession, Christian, and link up.
Yeah, they're definitely chasing the game right now. And it seems like they're looking too much for that final ball, not finding that balance with the buildup, but being able to get the ball out wide. This is a team that does well when they utilize Junior Flemings in wide spaces. Noah Powder, Zico Lewis is now on that right-hand side.
Bonomo takes the strike, and Pickens handles that one simply.
But in transition, David, when they're able to get those players in the wide spaces in 1v1, that's when Red Bulls 2 is going to be most dangerous. And right now, got to give Tampa Bay an awful lot of credit right there. They're staying compact in their back 4, but then the 3 midfielders in front doing a good job shuttling, covering the space, but also clogging things up, slowing down that quick movement and those touches, making Red Bulls 2 play with their backs to goal.
Bonomo lofts it over for Zico Lewis. Lewis scored the first ever goal at MSU Soccer Park history. Shigenobu into the feet of Velo. Below cuts it back. It takes a deflection. It goes out for a corner kick.
A little bit better there from Red Bulls too. Again, the quick movement, the quick passing, running into space and getting it out wide, and then getting the defensive players in those isolation situations is when they can be most effective.
Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Sirius XMFC, Channel 85, and the USL Game of the Week on Sirius XMFC, Channel 85. Tenari with the cross played in. Headed away at the near post by the Rowdies. Collins with the second header. Now Joe Cole brings it down. Tries to get out of 4 defensive players. He can't. New York turns it back around. Velo down the left wing. Cross played in. Knocked away right before it got to Pickens. But back out for a throw in.
But what good vision there from Noah Powder, the left back, to spring that ball right in. Just the right amount of touch then to parlay it into a dangerous play in front of goal.
Bonomo getting up a little bit slowly. Looks like Pickens got the punch to it. And then the collision with Bonomo.
Really like that ball, though, from Powder to Velo.
And a free kick now will go against Powder. Noah Powder was a big part of last year's championship team as an academy player on loan, then left the club for the fall and most of the spring, returning in July now to become the full-time left back on this team. What's his future like? What's his ceiling like?
Well, I mean, he's certainly a member of the Trinidad and Tobago under-17 national team, under-20 setup. Kid's still just a teenager. I think that he could have a future here with the U.S. national team set up if he so desired. He's got the pace. He certainly has the size you like to see from someone who's at that age. But I think his understanding, his reading of the game, there needs to be some improvement there. But physically, he has the tools, he has the pace, and he has the instinct you want to see from an outside back.
A lot of danger right now by New York, playing it around in their box. And a little tiki-taka in their own 18. Shigenobu turns it over, drags Restrepo down on the edge of the area. It'll be a dangerous free kick coming here for Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Yeah, and John Walenek right now just yelling to his team, just get it out there. You can't be playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches there in and around the 18. Eventually Shigenobu being forced to make the foul.
A mistake from a lot of players, but I can't believe Mira didn't just blast that one out when it finally got to his feet as the goalkeeper. Now a little committee forming around this free kick. Schaefer, Restrepo, and Cole standing over this one. A lot of experience, a lot of quality over this free kick. They go short. Schaefer now will blast it through the wall, and it takes a touch and goes out for a corner kick.
And very nearly the 2 Wolfsburg fans here almost went into hysteria if that was on frame.
Marcel Schaefer, Wolfsburg legend, bringing out the crowd here. New York Red Bulls, too, normally the team that likes a creative free kick or two in a game, so they'll, I'm sure, admire that one from Tampa. It'll be Schaefer to take this corner kick now. Cross played in, headed away by Scarlett. As New York tries to push their lines up. Kyle Porter with the turnover. Velo will switch the field for Flemings. Just too long for Joe Cole, who makes the tackle and gets back to recover the ball.
Long run there from Joe Cole in recovery as Red Bulls 2 was trying to make something on the counterattack. What does this say when you have an English international playing at Chelsea willing to make those types of runs?
And we've seen, of course, being soccer fans here in the U.S., players coming over later in their careers that have played at the highest levels maybe handle the responsibility differently. Of course, Joe Cole growing up in the West Ham Academy and then playing at Chelsea with Frank Lampard, with the Didier Drogba. Drogba right now with Phoenix Rising. Lampard playing here in the area with NYCFC. All to varying levels of production, you could say.
Sean Wright Phillips.
Sean Wright Phillips as well was a part of that Chelsea setup. Former New York Red Bull player. Current Phoenix Rising player, his brother, of course.
He's not bad.
Superstar. Maybe on the verge of an England call-up. No, Powder's dragged down. Martin Patterson, one-on-one matchup versus our head official here. He has hit the ground a number of times, called for fouls for him and against him. Definitely looking for every little edge and advantage he can in this one. Just south of 10 minutes left to play here in regular time of the first half. 1-1 between New York Red Bulls 2 and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Andrew Tenari with the goal in the 17th minute. And then Martin Patterson equalizing things just 4 minutes later for his 8th goal of the season. New York Red Bulls 2 coming into this one in 10th place in the Eastern Conference. Only 2 home games left. This is a must 3 points for them. And Dunn plays that ball to no one, and it rolls out for a throw in. David Goss and Christian Dyer here at MSU Soccer Park in Montclair, New Jersey. New York Red Bulls 2, 2016 regular season and postseason champions. Tampa Bay Rowdies won the 2012 USL Soccer Bowl as well as the 1975 Soccer Bowl. Of course, that one had guys like Rodney Marsh on the team.
Talk about another Cosmos connection. First head coach of the Rowdies was Eddie Fermani.
Here, Cosmos legend as well. Samira comes out.
And Fermani, first ever head coach of the Metro Stars.
You're tying it all together right now.
Wow. We have symmetry right there.
If you'd like to read Christian's new book, The Firsts of Everything. I like that title.
It's the sequel to I'm in the Way. An autobiography.
And Dom on the ball, linking up with Shigenobu. Flipped over the top for Velo. New York pushing their lines forward. Tenari gets on the ball. Bonomo tries the back heel. And Tampa drops about 10 players behind the ball. Now the Rowdies will push forward. Scarlett tackles away from Restrepo. Joe Cole able to keep possession and then pushed away. Vanguard switching the point of attack. An offside flag will go up against Patterson. Jordan Scarlett, one of our star players to highlight before the game. Another solid performance for him so far. Tenari playing an all-time level of confidence. The Jim drops it back for Scarlett. Scarlett now. His switch of the field to Lewis. Hits on a dime. Handled there by Portillos. So another corner kick coming for New York. The Rowdies have made New York pay on a corner kick already in this one. Can New York return the favor here in the closing minutes of this first half? Tenari fakes the short corner. He tricked everyone. Now it looks like he'll play it in. Hit low into the feet of Restrepo. He clears it out. No one behind Powder now. He had to make that play, and he does. The switch of the field. Fleming's one-on-one with Porter. Gonna make something happen. Early ball into Bonomo is knocked away. And the foul will go against Cole.
Yeah, but it seems like right now Red Bulls 2 is just all too content just to pump balls into the box, kind of hoping that Stefano Bonomo is going to be able to rise up and be able to win the ball or put a shot on frame. And that's not really Bonomo's style. He is a bigger type of forward, but he doesn't want to play necessarily as a target guy. He wants to be able to make the runs, play off the shoulder, play into space. And I think right now, if you're Red Bulls 2, the best thing to be able to do, play some of those diagonal balls, cut in, get your wide players going in on goal with some space, with a little bit of momentum, and then be able to find the late runs of, let's say, Bonomo.
Interesting to see Bonomo talking to the young player Powder. Powder and Lewis now standing over this one as Bonomo goes back into the box. We'll see what New York has ready here. Powder takes the low shot and beats Pickens.
Well, we've seen 2 blasts here from Red Bulls, too. We were talking about Noah Powder just a few moments ago, David, and what he brings, the potential, the understanding. And this was just lining up, and I think the audacity, quite frankly, to be able to go after a goalkeeper in Pickens who has a lot of MLS experience, but where the wall was set up, looking to go there against the wall, sliding that ball in. Well taken free kick opportunity from, what would we say, about 25, 28 yards?
And that dip there, I have to say both goals that have gone in have looked like maybe they took a deflection, but I don't think either one did. Pickens stuck in cement on Tenari's shot and now beaten by Powder.
New York Red Bulls, 2 goals. His first of the season. Scored by number 66, Noah Powder. In the 41st minute.
Talks about the addition this year of Noah Powder. A huge moment for New York to get that goal before halftime. Can they hang on to it this time, though?
Well, someone sent a clip of that quickly to Tony Miola and the under-18 national team, because this is a kid, his potential right now, I think he's only going to continue to grow with more and more matches.
But he already has an under-17 national team in Trinidad and Tobago. He was captain of the Trinidad and Tobago national team.
Also, however, eligible for the U.S.
And that is how Christian Dyer makes controversies begin.
Well,
Flemings.
you said Bradley Wright Phillips is perhaps poised for a call up to the English national team. I got to try to match it right here.
Well, you know, you got to have a bit of flair. Noah Powder in his 2nd year with New York Red Bulls, too.
And if there's one thing we learned from Office Space, you can never have too much flair.
Lewis challenging this one, and Pickens makes the play in the end. Powder's 3rd goal of his professional soccer career. First of the season. Lewis almost a chance here to break through.
Yeah, and some good work here from Pickens, coming out, cutting down the angle on goal. You know, it certainly has not been an easy few minutes for the Rowdies back line. There's been a lot of sustained possession from Red Bulls too, as we've seen the shape of the midfield, the 3 in the midfield there, 5 defensively, but lining up certainly in the 11 as a 3, has had some difficulty with the numbers that Red Bulls 2 is throwing forward.
Flemings now on the dribble. His pass taken by Porter. Shigenobu with the one-touch pass wide to Najim. His shot into the arms of Pickens.
And not a good decision there from Kyle Porter when he had the ball, playing it back in centrally. One thing that Red Bulls 2 has been doing so well over this stretch of 4 matches where they've been undefeated, 2 wins and 2 draws. They've been winning the second ball, keeping that pressure sustained. When they press and counter-pressing, just being able to keep their foot full throttle. And they're doing that right here against a Tampa Bay team that has a lot of veterans, a lot of talent.
Soccer fans, Nike's an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. New York Red Bulls 2 were leading 2-1 against Ottawa in their last game. Gave up a stoppage time equalizer to get pulled back 2-2. Undefeated their last 4. 2 home wins, 2 road draws at Ottawa and Charleston. Their last home game, a 4-0 victory over FC Cincinnati. Just a couple days after the New York Red Bulls MLS side knocked off FC Cincinnati in the U.S. Open Cup semifinals.
That's been a little bit of a challenge right now for Tampa Bay, the last 2 matches, a win and a draw. You look at Ottawa, the goal that they gave up came up on a counterattack in that Ottawa match. And then St. Louis going down early like they did, battling back, getting 3 goals. And then the goal that ended up winning the game for St. Louis coming in off a deflection. So perhaps a little bit unlucky. But again, this is a veteran team, a team with players from the NASL, English Premier League, Bulgarian First Division, German Bundesliga. They're not going to be rattled. You just get the sense that they're going to be in every game because of their leadership and the spine of this team.
For New York Red Bulls 2, a 2-1 lead. Outside of giving up the goal so quickly after they scored the first one, you'd have to say a pretty good half for Coach Wolnick's side as we get that final whistle.
Yeah, I think overall they've done some good things. What I like to see was defensively, they kept their shape, they kept their composure, didn't get rattled, even as Tampa Bay threw more and more numbers forward into the final third.
On the flip side for the Rowdies, what do they have to change? What can they change going into the second half?
Well, I think that they're sitting way too far deep. When Tampa Bay has done well, they've been pushing numbers, moving the ball quickly, getting it out wide. I thought Restrepo in wide spaces was very dangerous, but not a whole lot coming down from the left side of the field. They're going to need to address that, add a little bit more width in the second half.
For New York Red Bulls, too, there is no tomorrow, really. Second to last home game of the season, leading the Tampa Bay Rowdies 2-1 in the first ever meeting between these teams. A must 3 points for New York Red Bulls, too. 17th minute goal from Andrew Tenari got them started. Knocked back by Patterson's 8th goal of the season and Noah Powder in the 41st minute, giving them a 2-1 lead. We'll have first half highlights and second half action coming up here for New York Red Bulls, too.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
Ready to go. Big time atmosphere here at Red Bull Arena. Wide shot saved by Robles. Bradley right for it. Has scored! The ultimate scoring machine. And New York is on fire. Hashtag New York is red. Who would argue with them?
Left out here to rot and burn. I never trusted your love. Don't need any of the games. 'Cause all you do is
The fans at MSU Soccer Park have seen a great first half. 3 goals between these two teams. New York Red Bulls 2 with the second in the 41st minute to take the lead into halftime. David Goss and Christian Dyer joining you for this one. Let's look at those first half highlights, how these teams got it done. New York Red Bulls 2, a lot of possession in this one. Some with some purpose, some without.
Yeah, and we've seen them that they've been most dangerous when they've gone out wide, utilizing players such as Junior Fleming, Zico Lewis in those 1v1 situations. But the goals didn't come from that. It came instead from a set piece goal to go up ahead 2-1, and then Andrew Tenari off the set piece. But I think you clearly have to say that this has been a first half where Red Bulls 2 has dominated possession, dominated the opportunities.
New York Red Bulls 2, goal in the 17th, and then just 4 minutes later, tied up. Martin Patterson, his 8th goal of the season, knocked in at the far post. Back and forth from there on out until Noah Powder, this dipping shot. I think Stefano Bonomo gets a emotional assist, because clearly talking into Noah Powder's ear before that one. New York Red Bulls 2, a 2-1 lead in comfortable position, or at least where they'd like to be at halftime. We highlighted before the game Joe Cole and Jordan Scarlett for these two teams. Who stood out for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Andrew Tenari has had a very, very good first half for Red Bulls too. He is, he's been running, controlling things box to box, not just the goal, but I thought he's done a good job of clogging things up. And then you look on the Tampa Bay side, Walter Restrepo has done a real nice job when he's gotten out wide. I've also been impressed very much by Marcel Schaefer as well. 2 ways, running kind of things, being able to carry a possession. Tampa Bay's had a difficult time always getting him in the ball in positions where he can carry it forward.
New York Red Bulls 2 have struggled to hold leads. Can they do it this time at home against the Tampa Bay Rowdies? We'll be back in just a moment.
maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Week 23 of the 2017 USL regular season was one for the record books. 5 midweek matchups took center stage as the league's total attendance record was shattered. Wednesday night saw the USL surpass the 1.5 million mark in total attendance, pushing past 2016's total attendance in just 6.5 weeks after the league passed the 1 million mark. FC Cincinnati continues to lead the league in average attendance with more than 20,000 fans per game, with Sacramento Republic FC not far behind. But notably this season, the league has more than doubled its number of teams averaging more than 5,000 fans per game, with 9 clubs above that mark. Those 9 teams, which include newcomers Reno 1868 FC, Ottawa Fury FC, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, sit in the top 11 in average attendance nationally outside Major League Soccer. With the season pushing on, the 2 million attendance mark is on the horizon. As the race for the 2017 USL Cup playoffs heats up, the league's fans are not cooling down. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
ready to go. Big time atmosphere here at Red Bull Arena. Wide shot saved by Robles. Bradley right for it has scored! The ultimate scoring machine. And New York is on fire.
Hashtag New York is red. And who would argue with them?
Left out here to rot and burn. I never trusted your love. Don't need any of the games. All you do is
Welcome back to MSU Soccer Park here for New York Red Bulls 2. It's the Tampa Bay Rowdies for the first time ever in these two franchises' history facing off. Perfect start to Labor Day weekend here at MSU Soccer Park. Just the first ever season that New York Red Bulls 2 have called this building home. They've got 3 halves of soccer left to play, and then maybe a playoff game. Right now, they're just hoping to get in. A lot of work left to do for this squad for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. 1 win on the road this season, trailing 2-1 in this one. What was that? Early Andrew Tenari strike, just his 2nd goal of the season in the last week that he scored those 2 before Martin Patterson tied it up. And then Noah Powder at the close of the half with his well-educated left foot blasting that one in. The substitutes out warming up as we get ready for the second half. Stuart Campbell's side, they showed their danger, especially Walter Restrepo, when he was able to get on the ball. We'll see how Campbell looks to create some goals for his team and how Coach Wolenek looks to counter that here in the second half. I mentioned New York Red Bulls 2 conceding late goals and getting stuck with some drop points over the last month or so. And now up 2-1 once again, looking to close it out. David Goss and Christian Dyer here at MSU Soccer Park. The penultimate game for New York Red Bulls 2. They then travel on the road. Those Red Bulls 2 coming out of this one for a tough stretch at TFC2 and at FC Cincinnati over the next few weeks. The final home game September 30th against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And then they close out with 3 road games. They travel down to Florida on October 4th to face off against these Rowdies. They stay in Florida for a midweek game against Orlando City B, and then close out the season in what has become the rivalry match for them against the Rochester Rhinos. 2 red cards shown in their last matchup. A penalty kick shootout in the postseason last year, a red card, and a late winner for Rochester 2 years ago in the postseason. That has become the matchup in the Eastern Conference over the last 2 years since New York Red Bulls 2 came into existence. Coach Wolenek back out on the field with his squad getting ready for the kickoff. Christian, we talked about New York Red Bulls 2 conceding late goals, not able to hang on for wins. A young team against a very experienced one. How do they see out the next 45 minutes?
Yeah, this is going to be a real test. We talked about Jordan Scarlett before the match started. It'll be a real test of his maturity, his growth, and his development. He's good in 1v1 situations, but oftentimes has a tendency to gamble, to push forward, to try to make plays, especially when he's fronting up defenders, and that can leave a lot of space behind him. And we talked about Hassan Endom as well at the middle point of the first half, said how in the past few weeks he's cleared up things, but there's been a tendency here or there to have a mistake or two. Today he's been very clean, very mature, simple on the ball, showing all the building blocks you want to see. Very impressive in the air too. That has to continue for the final 45 minutes if Red Bull 2 wants to continue this hot run.
For the Rowdies, Sebastian Guenzati, a new signing on the bench, Alex Morel, Michael Nanchoff, Justin Chavez. All attacking options off the bench for New York. Tim Schmoll, Ethan Cutler, and David Avidor. 3 defenders on the bench, Zaire Bartley, Douglas Martinez, and Ben Mines. if Coach Wolenek chooses to bring in some offensive substitutes later on in this one. Shigenobu, Tenari, and Velo playing in that three-man midfield. Been able to stunt the ball possession and attack of the Rowdies for the most part in that area. Lewis now drifts in field, can't find Flemings. And Velo beaten to that second ball there by Collins. Neil Collins, his 34th birthday today. So happy birthday to the Scottish Youth International.
Let's talk about the learning experience, though, for Red Bulls 2 right now. That's what it always is when you're dealing with these, developmental squads, which is what Red Bulls 2 is, going up against a franchise without, the backing of an MLS affiliation necessarily. When you talk about the Shigenobus and Ben Mines, who's on the bench, and so many of these other players, Hassan Endom, it's about development. It's about getting them ready for that next level to be able to go up against a player like a Joe Cole, like a Vingard, like a Schaefer, Patterson, Ristov, all these types of players.
Powder curls that cross in, knocked down and then cleared away by Vingard.
But important moments in their development to getting them ready, hopefully, if you're Red Bulls, getting them ready for the MLS level and that next step.
And the Jim clips this one over to Powder once again. Cut back this time. Right-footed cross played in by Powder. Rare enough to say. Oh, Powder very left foot dominant. He's got his first goal of the season. Velo cuts back. He's wide open down the line. One-on-one with Porter. Back out to Shigenobu. He played to Tenari. He's got space. He's already hit one from there. Shigenobu can't follow up, and two players go down in a heap. An ugly scream coming off that one. It looks like, I believe it's Kyle Porter there. Shigenobu maybe stomping on the ankle a little bit there.
It is Kyle Porter down for Tampa Bay. Good to see Shigenobu, who I thought had a very influential first half for Red Bulls 2, get back up. This is a young man with a bright future. U.S. Youth International seems to be growing. We saw him very early on in the season for Red Bulls 2, kind of playing a little bit more of a passive type of role, just willing to fit in. Now with each game getting more and more expressive on the field, willing to do, and I think be a bit more daring, which is part of his development.
Porter there getting looked at by the trainer, 27-year-old out of Toronto. 7 caps for Canada, played 3 years for DC United with 3 goals and an assist, as well as on loan at Richmond. Spent the last 2 years at Atlanta and Ottawa, and now with Tampa Bay. And he seems to be okay. So that's good to see that Porter feeling fine, ready to continue. One of the many full internationals out there on the field for these two sides is we just continue to see the quality and experience level in USL rise and rise and rise over the last 2-3 years. A number of expansion teams coming in next year, Nashville and Las Vegas and Fresno, and the league will only get better and better. Velo turns it over to Schaefer. That one too far and it rolls out. Georgi Ristov, leading goal scorer on this team, former NASL Golden Ball winner. You mentioned all of his experience with a number of powerhouses like Ceska and Levski Sofia. We haven't seen a lot of him in this game.
No, and part of it is because he doesn't necessarily play up top, or I think he's going to be most comfortable. Ristov is a player who does his best when he's in the 18. And this formation right now, Coach Campbell, what they're doing with Tampa Bay, he's going to be playing out wide a bit more. It's going to be more of a position where he's going to have to make those second and third runs into the box, find those pockets of space. And right now, I think Red Bulls 2 has done a very good job of clogging things up and making sure that he's not able to make those runs in, as I think Tampa Bay's been a little bit more direct than they would like.
Scarlett knocking over Patterson, and a free kick goes against him. You'd think if you have a goal scorer of the quality of Ristov, you'd find a way to get him around the 18. Patterson, of course, has gotten a goal already in this game.
Patterson's been very active up there, many times looking just like a lone striker with Tampa Bay having to put 9 players behind the ball with all the Red Bulls to possession. But I think Ristov, if they're able to free him up, in particular, perhaps be able to go to more of a 2-forward type of alignment up top and be able to get somebody out wide, I think that's going to be probably a better fit there to be able to generate some offense.
Ball played into the box, Porter's cross, and offside called against Joe Cole. Schaefer going short there. Porter didn't see it coming. Still able to recover and get the cross in.
Been a little bit of a rough match for Kyle Porter. We saw the tangle up he had with Shigenobu a few moments ago, but also defensively being caught behind a little bit, in particular when Noah Powder makes those runs. He's been a little bit overwhelmed on that right side.
Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast. Mike Watts, Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM-FC Channel 85. You can also listen to your USL Game of the Week there. Go to USLsoccer.com to check the schedule. Not a whole lot of time left in this season. So a lot left to be decided for all these teams. Home field advantage throughout the playoffs as well as just playoff berths. The teams down around the area the Red Bulls too are in. Tico Lewis beat the first defender well. His pass into the feet of Porter though. Powder steps up. Porter clears once again, and Shigenobu will go all the way back to our goalkeeper, Mira.
Ryan Mira, certainly not a whole lot he could do on that Tampa Bay goal, but I thought he's done well with the few challenges he's had. He's had to do certainly some distribution, but when you talk about some of the driven crosses in, some of those balls, I think Ryan Mira's done a nice job.
Velo comes back. He sprays it wide for Powder. Powder now charging into the box, and he blasts it over the goal.
Well, you got to like the confidence from Noah Powder from an acute angle there. But again, we talk about Noah Powder. We just spoke about it a few moments ago. Kyle Porter has had a little bit of difficulty there when Noah Powder, with his speed, his pace, has been running and overlapping, being able to find some space. There's been a lot of opportunities for Noah Powder to be able to get into the final third with momentum.
Matt Pickens, one of the most experienced players out there on the field. Bounced around in the U.S. and England for a number of years.
A longtime Colorado Rapids goalkeeper.
Spent some time with the New England Revolution, Chicago Fire as well. In England with QPR. Tonari floats right by Vingard. Shigenobu, one-on-one with Schaefer. All the way left to Flemings. Flemings charging into the box. Porter lining him up. Bonomo with the tap in. Florian Velo with the goal. New York Red Bulls 2 take a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, good movement there. Junior Flemings on the right side for much of this match, going over, switching, finding some space and the opportunity. We talked about some of the difficulties Tampa Bay's had on that right side. Well, Junior Flemings linking up there, being able to play that ball in, and Stefano Bonomo in the right spot. But I really like this Junior Flemings. We spoke about it in the first half. What a talented player he can be when he can get a little bit of separation, just the ability on the ball. And Bonomo with that run towards the far post, very intelligent, very savvy, goal scorer's goal.
Florian Velo, his third goal of the season, and like Tonari, starting to pour it on over the last 2 weeks. A huge moment for Velo. Making that late run out of midfield. And what a goal, Christian, for New York Red Bulls, too. They've struggled to hold leads, especially late in games. They get themselves a little bit of breathing space with a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and I think it's been a bit of a disjointed effort from Tampa Bay. We've seen the struggles over the past 2 games, just 1 point, especially disconcerting coming off the recent run of form they had before these past 2 games. But right now, really not a whole lot of fluidity in their build-up, not a lot of width when they're into the attack. Very few opportunities for Ristov, for Patterson up top, really been affecting them right now. I think they need to bring some speed into this match because right now they're having difficulty with Noah Powder on the left side and Junior Flemings and Zico Lewis. When they find space, they've been able to capitalize the Rowdies' defensive setup.
Florian Velo, you could say a bit of a slump this season for a large stretch over the last month and a half, though. And I don't think a coincidence, as Vincent Bezecourt moved up to the MLS level, Velo started to play much better for this team, become much more influential.
Yeah, we were talking about Velo perhaps being one of those players who would make that move to MLS up to the Red Bulls in the full senior team. But I don't know if it's as much of a slump necessarily as the fact that the whole team around him, a lot of changes.
Now Najim gets into the area. Knocked away from behind by Ristov. Collins, feet of Portillos. The Rowdies struggling to clear their lines as Endom steps forward.
Good interception there from Endom, stepping right in, making sure Schaefer, who had floated onto the left side, trying to find some spaces. He's been bottled up here in the Tampa Bay midfield. Good intervention there from Endom.
And no wait for the substitution for Coach Campbell. Sebastian Guenzati, one of the new signings for this team, coming on for Restrepo. Restrepo, a bright spot in the first 15 or so of this game. A lot quieter, though, since then. Hasn't found as many touches as Noah Powder. Seemed to get him under control a little bit more. So now Guenzati coming on here, born in Uruguay.
And of course, Guenzati, yet another one of those Cosmos connections here on this Rowdies team.
Yeah, born in Uruguay, raised, though, just over a couple bridges in Queens. Grown up in Fresh Meadows.
And coming up through the academy setup of Uruguayan powerhouse Penarol.
We'll see what Guenzati can bring, but potential to bring a little bit of that speed to the field. Just 26 years old. It's starting to rain here in Montclair, 66 degrees and expected rain. The weather forecast for this one held off for 57 minutes. Ristov gets on the ball. Plays the overlap of Schaefer. The left-footed cross gets into the box. Guenzati just off the bench. Can't get it under control.
Good movement, though, from Guenzati.
Denari with the mistake turns it over. This one rolls out. A second substitute immediately coming now. It looks like Alex Morel's going to come on in place of Ristov. So Georgi Ristov, the leading goal scorer on this team now. A quiet game for him taken off. And Alex Morel brought on.
Soccer fans, Nike.
Morel, the local native out of Lakeland, Florida. 2 goals already this season. This just his 17th appearance. Christian, immediate reaction from the manager, Campbell, for Tampa Bay to change things up and try and get his team back in this one.
Well, it wasn't working. And bringing on board players such as Morel, such as Guenzati, perhaps a little bit more mobility, the ability to cover more ground. They've had difficulty with their midfield shape. I think responding when Red Bulls 2 has flooded, the midfield in terms of numbers, they've been very slow to respond. So being able to bring players who can spread the ball out wide just a little bit and get into those 1v1 situations, probably something that maybe a move that should have been made at halftime.
Free kick called in favor of New York, a yellow card shown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has issued a yellow card to Tampa Bay's number 90.
So Kyle Porter picks up the yellow card. It's been an eventful second half from him. Porter, of course, familiar to many Red Bull fans from his time at DC United. Lewis and Tenari standing over this one. Lewis to take. It bounces in the box. Collins does not react. Endom's able to be the first one to get there. Endom trying to earn a corner kick and put it in off of Collins, and he's not able to. Chaotic moments there for both sides, really. Trying to react to that dangerous free kick from Zico Lewis. Soccer Fans Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Hunter Gorski. That ball played just a little bit too far for Collins, who's able to recover. Schaefer with the ball over the top towards Patterson. Scarlett. Fortunate maybe that Patterson was offside. Gets a free kick in favor of New York. 3-1 lead for New York Red Bulls 2. Second half goal from Florian Vallot, giving New York some breathing space. Immediate reaction from the manager, Stuart Campbell, to bring on 2 subs for the Rowdies. Joe Cole in his first appearance since July 5th due to a back injury. Might have to go a full 90 in this one.
And I think now John Wolonek may be making a response. My old man eyes can't necessarily see, but I think it might be Douglas Martinez coming in the match.
Yeah, it looks like Douglas Martinez, the Honduran U20, is up at the midfield line, ready to come on.
I think perhaps somebody who has a little bit more of that mobility we've alluded to, the ability to go 1v1, may just be important right now. It could be a good outlet on the counterattack for Red Bulls too. As Tampa Bay, I think, has settled down the past couple minutes since giving up that third goal. A little bit more possession, a little bit better movement.
Be surprised if maybe this man, Zico Lewis, was the one to come off. Lewis has the chance to get it into Flemings, and he tries to go with the outside of his foot, knocked away by Gorski. Gonzati's clearance intercepted. Now back on the ball is the Rowdies. Patterson coming forward. He puts it behind his teammate, and Flemings can push the attack the other way. Flemings skates by the first defender. Collins called for the foul. It'll be a free kick coming for New York on the top of the Rowdies box.
And I think that's perhaps a little bit of a harsh call there from Collins. It was a little bit of shoulder to shoulder, used his body well. I think Collins overall this match has done a pretty good job, even as Red Bulls 2 has kind of flooded the center part of the field with bodies, but here just getting a little bit tangled up. Perhaps a foul. Not sure it's worthy of the yellow.
You know, Collins, experienced defender for this team. Played most of his career with Sheffield United. We've already seen Noah Powder put one in from a similar position in the first half. Let's see what happens here. Once again, getting the inspirational speech from Bonomo.
It worked last time.
It's Powder and Lewis, both the ability to hit it with their left feet. Powder takes it once again. Pickens with the diving save.
Well done there from Matt Pickens, and a deadly dead ball piece there from Noah Powder, lifting it over the wall. Pickens going all the way to his left, pairing out. Not been an easy second half for Matt Pickens, the amount of pressure he's had to put up with, but doing well here, seeing screened by the wall, not seeing it to the last moment. Noah Powder, if Pickens doesn't make that save, we're talking about a brace for Noah Powder.
Lewis puts it in. Bonomo heads it back across the face, but behind the goal.
The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues.
For Noah Powder, he was a bright star last year in USL play. Then comes back after bouncing around a little bit, wasn't at his top form. The Powder we've seen today, though, showing maybe what you were talking about with Tony Miola and that ability to play at the international level, whether for Trinidad and Tobago or the United States.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Noah Powder we've seen over the past 3 weeks or so been very good. So confident in his 1v1 defending, more than just using his physical attributes, his understanding of body and positioning and space and ability to read the game. Still needs to make improvements, but certainly has grown over the past 3 to 4 weeks. And then today we've seen him, what he can add offensively, how he likes to push forward, kind of that tendency to make that late run into space, real part of his growth and development.
So Douglas Martinez does come on for Zico Lewis. Martinez scored in his debut for New York Red Bulls too, his lone goal. Below looking for a second today. Shot is blocked. Good chase and battle there. Cole and Porter trying to work it out their own end. Turned over. Below missing the feet of Bonomo.
And it just seems right now that despite the class that the Tampa Bay Rowdies have had, and we've seen flashes of in this match, David, right now they're having a hard time with the speed, with the quickness, with the movement off the ball of a much younger, more athletic Red Bulls 2 team.
And it's a long USL season, a lot of travel, even though it's contained to conferences.
And a lot of players now playing on turf, going through that travel in the heat of the summer. It does take certainly it's wear and tear on a veteran player.
Third sub coming on for Tampa Bay as they're about to make that substitution, and there he is, Michael Nanchoff will come on. We'll see who it's in place of. So it looks like Martin Vingard is the man to come off as Nanchoff brings some fresh legs into that central midfield. We'll see if he can make a difference. Nanchoff, as we mentioned, the second Akron Zip on this team. Drafted by Vancouver Whitecaps. We're bouncing around with Portland Timbers. All played up the line to Morel.
Very quietly this match. I think David the Gym has done a good job there. A lot of activity down the right side. He's been tidy. He's pushed forward a couple times. We see each and every match, David the Gym just seems to get better, more confident in that role.
Not a dominating performance by New York at any point, but in this second half, Christian, not really any single dangerous chance you could say for the Rowdies.
No, I think the Rowdies have had very few effective touches in the final third. Really haven't pulled apart a Red Bulls 2 backline that I think now, getting a few games, having played together, the stability is showing, the communication, their understanding, and their positioning, and Tampa Bay really hasn't tested that so far in the second half. They looked good there for about a 15-20 minute stretch in the first half, kind of the middle portion of the first half. You could see them wresting control of the match, but it just seems like right now fatigue is beginning to settle in for Tampa Bay.
The Rowdies coming off a bye, so they should be the fresher team. We mentioned the age in those legs. Morel cuts back and crosses it. Powder's able to get a touch to it. Porter closes on it.
Good work there from Morel to get it out wide.
Guinzotti trying to get by Powder. And Powder once again stands up to the test. Collins to the feet of his partner, Gorski. Once again to the feet of Porter. Guinzotti clips it over the top. And it's too far for the Canadian international. So just north of 20 minutes left to play here. New York Red Bulls 2 leading Tampa Bay Rowdies 3-1 in this one. With a win, they will jump a couple of teams and move into 7th place in the Eastern Conference with all of their opponents still to play later today. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and FC Cincinnati, the two teams directly in front of New York, facing off against each other. So if New York can hold on here, they'll at least jump one of those teams, potentially if they draw, or Pittsburgh's able to get a win, they could jump both of them.
Yeah, a lot of different scenarios there, but you're talking, I think, more importantly, that whether this Red Bulls 2 team all of a sudden moves into one of those magic top 8 spots in the Eastern Conference. If the result holds as it does today, you're looking at 5 matches with 3 wins, 2 draws, certainly an upward performance. They have given up a set-piece goal, which has been an Achilles heel so far this year, but better defensively from this team.
Nanchoff sprays it wide. Morel cuts in. He's got an option out wide. A chance to shoot now, and he blasts it over the crossbar.
Much better, though, from Tampa Bay, getting the ball out wide there to the number 9, Morel. Couple touches, being able to cut inside. When Tampa Bay's been able to move the ball quickly, and when they did that in the first half, They certainly have the quality and the touches to be able to spray the ball, be able to get into those dangerous 1v1 situations. But by all means, better stuff there from Tampa Bay.
Stay up to date on the USL. Latest news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. And don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air your USL Game of the Week. Go to uslsoccer.com to check the schedule there. 3 substitutes made by the Rowdies already. 2 coming still from New York. We'll see what Coach Wolenek has up his sleeve. He's still got the academy player Ben Mines on the bench, as well as Zaire Bartley. And we can bring in a couple defensive reinforcements as the rain starts to fall a little bit heavier here. A number of green jerseys and yellow jerseys in the crowd as the local contingent of Tampa Bay Rowdies fans have come out to support their squad. It'll be Nanchoff standing over this one. Left-footed service played in. Mira out aggressively once again, gets a touch to it. Tanari looking to release the pressure for New York. Najim up the middle of the field. He gets pulled down from behind. You got to think potentially a yellow card coming for Morel here.
Yeah, good play there from Najim. Again, the understanding, cutting in front, the likeliness of drawing the foul. But good positioning overall from Red Bulls too. Again, Tampa Bay trying to get some numbers, trying to get the balls out wide into those 1v1 situations. Gotta like the fact that Red Bulls too holding their shape very well so far this match.
So just a talking to, it looks like, from Jose Carlos Rivero. So Alex Morel avoiding the booking. And you see here, like you said, Najim cutting across Morel, Morel pulling him down from behind. It looked like maybe slowing that play down from behind. Sometimes you see a yellow for that, sometimes not.
And I think we're seeing, though, the quality of Najim, who's a converted right back. Keep in mind, last year for the USL champion Red Bulls, too, he played a number of positions, not just outside back. This was somebody who the year before was a central midfielder at Columbia, one of the best players in the Ivy League at that position. Played out wide in the midfield here for Red Bulls, too, now being converted to an outside back. Still a lot of learning to do, but I think that there's the potential and the growth.
Najim, his younger brother now, the Philadelphia Union and Bethlehem Steel, still playing in central midfield. His brother, of course. Say it.
Scored a brace when he came here earlier in the year.
I thought you were going to say it was an Akron Zip. I thought we were going to come back around.
Not everything's about Akron.
I thought it was. At least everything's about Caleb Porter. And he is from Akron. Ryan Mira conceded the lone goal in this one. Mira spent most of the season with the MLS squad.
Good outlet pass there from Endom.
Ryan Mira a chance to pick up another USL win, just his 3rd appearance in USL action this year. Scarlet dribbles out of bounds.
Very important timing, though, for Ryan Mira to do it in a couple weeks' time. Red Bulls will be in their 2nd ever, or rather, I should say, 3rd ever final appearance as a franchise history, in franchise history, 2003, losing the Open Cup on a Damani Ralph goal when they were then the Metro Stars, then 2008, 2-1 at the what is now the StubHub Center in LA to the Columbus Crew. John Wolenek, USL coach, scoring the lone goal for the Red Bulls in that match.
Corner kick coming here for the Rowdies. Nanchoff takes it, headed down in the box. Shiganobu trying to get as clear as he can, and Martinez pushing it on and getting it out.
Very important moment, though, this upcoming Open Cup match for the organization. When you talk about what Jesse Marsh has done, 1st year winning the U.S. Open Cup, winning the Supporters Shield, 2nd year overcoming a very slow start, winning the Eastern Conference, now in 3rd year to perhaps be able to get the most significant hardware in franchise history. And that's no knock on the Supporters Shield, but certainly would be very, very important for them to get the result in Kansas City.
Free kick goes against Flemings. And in talking about that Open Cup final, you have to talk about what this New York Red Bulls 2 team has meant to the New York Red Bull franchise. Tyler Adams Derek Etienne Jr.,
Sean Davis.
Sean Davis, all a huge part of that victory.
Aaron Long, the USL Defender of the Year last year, now becoming a virtual lock as center back for the Red Bulls.
This New York Red Bull 2 team, regular season and postseason champions in 2016. Now a lot of those players going and making a difference in US Open Cup and MLS action for New York Red Bulls. And they hope next year in CCL action as well.
And it's been 4 matches now in the Open Cup for Ryan Meara. Started every single match. Luis Robles, who has that long streak in MLS play, hasn't played yet. You'd have to think that Jesse Marsch is going to give Ryan Meara the shot to play in that Open Cup final.
It'll be Nanchoff and Porter over this one. Nanchoff takes once again, wide open in the box is Gorski, and he scores on his debut. Hunter Gorski signs with Tampa Bay Rowdies on August 22nd. And just 10 days later, scores his first goal for the team in his first appearance.
And a very big following here from Hunter Gorski. Seems like about half the stadium standing up, but what an important moment here for Gorski, but also for the Rowdies. Things have not been going their direction, but Gorski floating there at the back post. Absolutely no chance for Ryan Meara. We've seen set pieces that there's been some difficulties for Red Bulls so far. Both of the goals with Tampa Bay have come on set pieces. But by all means, Hunter Gorski doing a great job in his debut match in Tampa.
So 5 goals in total so far in this one. The Rowdies coming in with the best defense in the Eastern Conference, but only 35 goals scored over the course of the year. This one's been an explosion, and what a huge moment. Christian, set pieces, late goals, not giving up leads. New York Red Bulls too, a couple buzzwords, and that one hit all of them.
But let's talk about Tampa Bay. Could be very easy for them after the last 2 matches they had. Ottawa, they controlled the game. They controlled the flow of play. Clearly the better team out there on the field. Ottawa all too content to sit back and keep their defensive shape. Tampa Bay gives up a goal on a counterattack. It would be very easy for them to hang their heads coming off that match. St. Louis, again, the comeback, going down a couple goals, scoring 3, losing 4-3 on a deflected goal. Be very easy to say this is just not our day. We're playing on turf. This is just too athletic of a team. Instead, now they've responded. 13 minutes left to go, 12 minutes left to go in this match. They're very much in it.
Now all the energy on the yellow and green side in this one. All 3 substitutes made already by the Rowdies. New York still 1 left to go as Bonomo gets called for the foul against Collins.
Yeah, I think this match right now for Red Bulls 2 is screaming for a Ben Mines type of player, someone who can control possession, who can sit there on the ball.
The low goes wide to Bonomo. Mistake from Tampa to turn it over, and Pickens makes that save.
I like this performance from Stefano Bonomo right now. Good running, good understanding. Kind of likened him a little bit to a Chris Wondolowski in terms of his movement on and off the ball. Such a smart player running those channels, his understanding of delivery. And I think Bonomo, having seen him this past week in training, being called up to do some work with the senior team, the MLS squad, the Red Bulls, has not looked out of place at all. Thought he looked very, very sharp in some of those sessions.
Well, for a guy like Bonomo, I don't know if there's any bigger compliment that you could give a guy from that area of the country than comparing them to Chris Wondolowski. Bonomo, a Cal graduate, a Bay Area native.
Listen, I'm not saying he's going to have the same career as a Chris Wondolowski, but his understanding, his intelligence, very similar.
Guenzati keeping the attack alive. Morel's been active since he's come on. Already had a couple shots, a chance here, and Meara makes the save off the post.
Yeah, a little bit of dicey play from Red Bulls 2 there in their back line, letting Morel be able to cut in. We've seen Morel a couple times now on that right foot cutting in. A little bit of some desperate defending there from Jordan Scarlett, but what a save. A fingertip save from Ryan Meara. Done everything right in this match. Can't fault him for either of those goals.
Gorski heads it down. Patterson gets a touch to it. Still alive in the box. New York has to clear their lines, and the Jim's able to guide it out. This one won't be easy. New York Red Bulls who want those 3 points. The Tampa Bay Rowdies throwing everything they can against the wall. Alex Morel, the patience he's shown every time he's cut in to not rush the shot, to allow the play to develop, and he's gotten 2 or 3 really good openings. The last one, of course, the best.
Just the little touches, though, as he goes across goal. We've seen it twice now, and certainly Ryan Mira standing very tall. Incredibly difficult save from Mira going across his body.
Soccer Fans Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. Go to NikeSoccer.com for more information. Final 10 minutes, regular time to be played here. Matt Pickens has conceded 3. He has 10 shutouts this year. New York Red Bulls, too, have looked confident offensively, but not so defensively. Bad turnover to Velo. Fleming's now surrounded by yellow and green. Tenari passing out of pressure. Portillo's able to come back, help out. Now it's back in New York's possession. Chaos around the Tampa Bay Rowdies back line. And maybe fortunate to see it go out as Kyle Porter hits it off our camera stanchion up there on that far side, or on your near side, as the rain continues to fall here. Thrown into the feet of Flemings. There goes to ground, no call made. Ball played over the top for Joe Cole, headed down by Endom. Powder's got a goal and an assist so far in this game. And with a lot of confidence, he plays it through for Flemings, who's onside, and he slots it home.
What a big moment there from Junior Fleming. The assist earlier to put Red Bulls 2 originally up 3-1, and now perhaps the goal that lands them 3 points might just put them into playoff position.
Junior Flemings, all business on that finish. The 83rd minute goal. New York Red Bulls 2 take a 4-2 lead.
Really like this again from Noah Powder. We're going to talk about that goal, but this might just be as important. The build-up that he had, the touches to be able to create some space, and then the vision to spring Junior Fleming's one touch, then right foot at the back post underneath Matt Pickens.
Junior Fleming's 8 goals for the season. 1 behind Brandon Allen for the team lead.
And you know what? Jamaica's playing the friendly over this weekend against Canada. I think Junior Fleming should have been a part of that.
A huge goal for New York Red Bulls, too. Pegged back once again by the Rowdies to make it 3-2. Some nervous moments, and they respond once again. What a game it's been for Noah Powder.
And it looks like it might be David Abador coming on in a few moments for Red Bulls too. Again, old man eyes, and this very far away.
Abador talking right now with Coach Wolonek. Ready to come on the field. He's played center mid and center back for this team throughout the season. An offensive explosion now for New York Red Bulls too. 10 goals over the last 3 games, 8 in their last 2 home games against 2 playoff opponents in Tampa Bay Rowdies and FC Cincinnati. Sonari may be looking for a little bit more. He got the scoring started in just the 17th minute. The Rowdies tied it up 4 minutes later. It's pretty much been all New York offensively since then. Porter goes to the ground. He's able to get it away from Flemings. Flemings looking to beat Porter one-on-one with the dribble right now. Still in possession, but hasn't gotten by Porter. And now he earns the throw-in.
Doesn't need to right now. It's more important to kill time there in that corner. But Kyle Porter, I think, just continuing his terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
Porter's been put on a lot of pressure, especially by the play of Noah Powder. Fleming's finally losing the ball. Nanchoff looking to clear out. Goes by a couple defenders and then switches the field. Gorgeous ball into the path of Morel. Najim with the touch.
Oh, very good there from Najim. I'm really impressed with just his ability there. 1v1 situations, not to get flustered, just to make it quick and simple, not foul, just get the ball out of bounds.
Looks like a free kick will go against Shigenobu here, and the substitution will be made. So Stefano Bonomo's day is done. He's got 4 goals now in 7 appearances this season, does Bonomo. No goal this one, but you liked his performance.
Yeah, you have to like his performance, and I think if you're an MLS head coach, you're going to watch and look at the runs he's making, the timing, his positioning, his understanding of the ball and the delivery and the channels, and be impressed. He's got the size to play at the next level. He certainly has the touch, the creativity, and the confidence in the final third.
You think most likely we'll see Flemings push in to that center forward role?
He'll probably be playing alone up top.
For Bonomo, and Abidor will come into the midfield to give another defensive presence on the field. Nanchov's free kick played in. It goes over everyone, and Gorski, who scored the 2nd goal for the Rowdies, will chase it down. Double teamed out there by Martinez and Powder. It goes out for Rowdies throw in.
And you're talking about the amount of offensive firepower the Red Bulls MLS team has. Bradley Wright Phillips, you can make the argument, the most significant player ever in franchise history. May be difficult for Junior Flemings to unseat a player like Wright Phillips or find the playing time, but some MLS squad could really benefit from his skill set, his 1v1 ability, and I think just his growing danger in the final third.
Flemings last year going down with a knee injury at about this time, as New York Red Bulls 2 was on a rampage through the league. They were still able to win the championship without him. Velo and Bezecourt really stepping into that role alongside Etienne Jr. in the creative space for this team. Flemings now starting to get back to where we saw him at, I think, Christian, finally last year from that knee injury, getting that speed back, getting that touch back, and showing his danger.
Yeah, and remember, Junior Flemings was going to be called up into the camp with the MLS side last year, or this past offseason, but the knee injury certainly shelved that.
What a ball from Abidor off the bench. Flemings now one-on-one once again with Porter. He gets inside, his shot is blocked, and it'll go out for a corner kick for New York as they will look to waste every second that they can here.
Been a pretty comprehensive performance, though, from Red Bull 2. Yes, there were the 2 goals given up on set pieces, but when you look at what they've done from the flow of play, in particular in the final third, I think head coach John Walenek has to be a little bit impressed.
New York trying to waste some time. Go back to the feet of Shigenobu. Across the field for Powder. Powder turns it over. Porter's pass blocked away. For New York, this could be a perfect weekend for them. They can hang on and get 3 points here. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and FC Cincinnati, the 2 teams in front of them, play each other. Bethlehem Steel FC right in front of Cincinnati, and Orlando in front of them. They face off against each other. So New York, an opportunity to pick up some points and some standings against the few teams in front of them. With this win, they'll jump in the 7th in the Eastern Conference. We'll see how those games play out and if they're able to remain in that spot. Ben Mines, the last substitute of the game, coming on here. Mines, another Red Bull Academy player.
Well, this is a player I really like. His 1v1 ability, confidence and creativity on the ball. Just a little bit daring, but his understanding, sits in those pockets, retains possession, does a real nice job. I think this is, in all likelihood, going to be the next homegrown player for the Red Bulls.
Junior Flemings, 8 goals on the season now, with the 4th goal in this one. Ben Mines, 1 goal, and now his 6 appearances so far this season. And that's Ben Mines in a nutshell right there. Explosive speed. He's able to get back to that ball himself. A super sub, energetic. Abidor with the shot, and it's just wide of the far post.
Abidor a few moments ago sprayed that ball onto the left-hand side for Junior Flemings. Now getting involved with that shot from about 25 yards. Very nearly a 5th goal for Red Bulls too. Active couple moments for Abidor.
Abidor and Mines coming off the bench.
That was a good look.
Making a difference very quickly. Those two players, Abidor, a lot of playing time early on with the injuries to Jordan Scarlett. Noah Powder not part of this team, as well as Tenari still figuring out, finding his feet. Abidor moving around between center back, central midfield, a little bit of fullback, especially with the broken foot injury to Ethan Cutler right at the beginning of the season. He's found it harder to find playing time throughout the summer as the New York starting lineup has solidified. Cole called offside on this one. Joe Cole, his first game back since an injury 2 months ago. A quiet game for him, but he gets the full 90 minutes under Stuart Campbell.
Long term, the most important thing is that he emerges from this match without the injury. The 6 goals, the assist that he brings, the composure as well to a Tampa Bay team that's going to absolutely be in the playoffs this year. Get him ready, keep him fit, and just keep him sharp for the playoffs.
Tampa came into this one in 4th place in the Eastern Conference, tied with Rochester Rhinos, but ahead of them on goal differential. The Rhinos traveling to TFC 2, the last place team in the Eastern Conference, so Tampa could see themselves passed in the standings. Cole trying to switch the field. Endom got a touch on that one, and Powder easily stepping forward. As the crowd starts to make some noise in stoppage time here, New York Red Bulls 2 will move to 5 games unbeaten, 3 straight wins here at home with just 1 home game left. September 30th, hosting the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. If you can't get tickets, get out here and come see this team play for the last time in the regular season. Their first year here at MSU Soccer Park.
Should potentially be a good match with classes in session as well. We're seeing a lot of students out here at this match, and maybe a little bit of a rowdier type of atmosphere with some of the heckling and some of the fans. And good to see the building potentially for the Red Bulls too, if they were to host a playoff game.
Powder, a goal and an assist in this one. Andrew Tenari pulling the strings throughout. Shigenobu, we mentioned, facing off against a couple of players in midfield, double his age, with more international caps than he has professional appearances, and holding his own. Tenari with the switch of the field. Velo brings it down. Velo cutting in, and it puts his shot over everything, and it rolls out.
Well, some business student's going to find that on his way to microeconomics on Monday.
Classes in session as fall is finally here. Labor Day weekend. Thanks so much for joining us to start off your holiday weekend. And fall means playoffs. And the hunt for the playoffs is on for every team in USL. It's going to be a big weekend of USL action. So make sure to stick to USLsoccer.com. Real Monarchs already running away with the regular season championship. The postseason championship can be a whole different story. The Rhinos and New York Red Bulls 2 have made it a double the last 2 years. Can the Monarchs do the same? Got a gorgeous new stadium opening up. One intercepted just in front of Tenari. Patterson's got 1 goal already today, and that shot will go wide. Maybe the final action of the game. New York Red Bulls 2 getting out to an early 1-0 lead. Patterson's goal just 4 minutes later, making it 1-1. Noah Powder with a direct free kick goal in the closing minutes of the first half that really set the tone for the second half. The New York Red Bulls 2 saw it out from there with a Florian Velo and Junior Fleming's goal. A 4-2 victory for New York Red Bulls 2. For you, Christian, man of the match, Tenari, Flemings, a lot of great performances.
Yeah, an awful lot, but Noah Powder as well. When you talk about the assist, the free kick goal that he had, absolutely tremendous match, I thought, from Noah Powder. And Junior Flemings is also standing out, somebody who I think is just primed and waiting for a bigger role.
For Tampa Bay Rowdies, still just the one road win this season for New York Red Bulls, too. They win the first ever matchup between these two teams. They'll head to Florida in October. A must-win, Christian. A great performance for this New York Red Bull team.
Yeah, very important. A lot of momentum now, unbeaten in their last 5. Going to be taking 11 points from those matches. I thought it was a good match from Noah Powder, Hassan Endom, and Tanari as well. Just a very good, complete performance from almost everyone making contributions for Red Bulls too.
Well, the young New York Red Bulls too come out on top of the veteran Tampa Bay Rowdies here at MSU Soccer Park. We'll be back in just a moment with your post-game reaction and full game highlights.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
Ready to go. Big-time atmosphere here at Red Bull Arena. Wide shot saved by Robles. Bradley right for it. Has scored! The ultimate scoring machine. And New York is on fire.
Hashtag New York is red. And who would argue with them?
New York Red Bulls 2. A 4-2 victory over the Tampa Bay Rowdies in the penultimate game here at MSU Soccer Park. David Goss and Christian Dyer waving to you from the box as we are safe from the rain. Fortunately, Florian Velo turning it on late in the season, as is David Najim. Noah Powder, Junior Flemings, Christian. Everything going well for New York right now in 5 undefeated. A 4-2 victory here against the best defensive team in the Eastern Conference in the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Let's look at these highlights. Let's talk about how New York got it done.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, I thought, from the start. Red Bulls 2 looked like the better team in the first half despite giving up a goal, but this was absolutely tremendous from Tanari. The blast through a crowded penalty area to be able to put that there, the touch, the presence there. I thought was good, and a good response from Tampa Bay, too. They responded after this goal with about 15, 20 minutes of good, solid play. Patterson there hanging out on the back post, but what a response here from Red Bulls, too. Noah Powder, shot lined up. Don't know if it took a deflection or not, but he'll say he meant to do it. Junior Flemings, loved what he brought in particular in the second half. The assist here to Stefano Bonomo, Florian Velo, rather. And then later on in the second half, he was going to get that goal.
Gorski in his first appearance for the Rowdies after signing just 10 days ago. Once again, Rowdies fought back, made it 3-2. And then Junior Fleming slots it home.
Absolute
through
class
ball from
finish
Powder.
there. Absolute class finish there from Junior Flemings. And I think the type of performance that's going to make you look and take notice and realize that this is a young man who should be playing at the next level.
The New York Red Bulls, who are the 2016 regular season and postseason champions, they're going to lose that regular season title. Maybe a chance to get into the postseason, though, and try and fight to retain that postseason championship. On a great run. 5 games undefeated, 3 straight home wins. They now play 4 of the last 5 on the road. New York Red Bulls 2 back up against it, but trending upward so far for them. For Christian Dyer, myself, David Goss, and everyone here, thanks so much for listening, and have a great Labor Day weekend.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.